I had just when I was setting this up, I didn't hold back. I was honest with the description. It's I called Bibi Netanyahu a genocidal war criminal, a Zionist and genocidal war criminal. I guess I'm sure uh, you know we all know it's true, every one of us. Uh, but apparently the Epstein class Zionist war criminals that control the deep state social media platforms like YouTube have a problem with that. So I might be getting completely blocked. I don't know. So if you're there, if you guys start come in and find this, who knows? It's Sunday too, and it's late. I was having a conversation with Victoria. We were talking about happy things, We were talking about peaceful, healthy, happy things. We weren't talking about this monster. But so I mean, really, Netanyahu, he's I forget what they call it, Shabbat something or whatever. He's part of this like cult of this Zionist cult in Judaism, where people they're like the Christian Zionists. They want to bring about the end of the world. But if you read the Talmud says that they have to kill all the goyim. All the non-Jewish people eventually will have to be killed because we got those dirty foreskins and shit. Um, so yeah, they're all about you know so that's what they're working on. They want to kill all the Christian Zionists too. They want to pretty much wipe off everybody but themselves off the face of the earth, the chosen people, so they can restart everything all over again. Hopefully they won't succeed, but I mean they sure pulled Trump around by his nose. They pretty much got his nuts in a vice. Um, Although I will say this, did anybody else see that Trump was blaming this disaster, unmitigated disaster in Iran on Jared Kushner and that I don't know whatever hell that dude that he's sending, the envoys of peace that he's been sending to the Ukraine and Israel, Kushner and some other shitbird. Bang up job they're doing with stuff, I guess. But he said he blamed it on them on what's happening. I mean, no, you're the boss, dude. I'm captain of this boat. As captain, I take responsibility for what happens in this boat. I was I was out one time. I was sailing across the Gulf of Mexico on my old boat. It was a really good blue water boat. It was a Shannon 38 full keeled ketch, heavyweight cruiser. And and my friend, he was running out of time. He had to get back to work, and we were leaving Mobile, and we were sailing across to Key West. And so we so we head out across, and he, we used to sail together in Lake Superior. He's a hell of a sailor. He's the best sailor I've ever sailed with. He knows what he's doing. He's my favorite crew. Uh, I won't say his name, so I'll say the one thing I don't like is that he's kind of a wake and bake pothead, and you know I haven't been a wake and bake pothead, I think, since since the mid 1990s. So it's been a while, 30 years just about, 28 years anyway. Um, and the But he's a great sailor. He's my favorite crew, and I tolerate him. It's just that I know when he has this. He'll smoke a little bowl in the morning and smoke a little bowl in the evening, and at those times, whenever he does something, I double check his work. Right? Hi, uh, but I'm the captain, and many times we've sailed together. We've sailed probably what I figured it's like maybe 2,000 nautical miles together, and we did a lot of our sailing on the Great Lakes, which are really rough. People think the ocean's rough, but it can be. Um, the So one time he had a limited time. He had to get back, and we were waiting for weather, waiting for weather. Finally, we were running out of time, and he showed me these. He's real good with computers and stuff. He's good with a lot of things that I'm not good at. And he showed me. He had like 20 weather models for this passage, and like 12 of them were horrible, and like 3 of them were really good. And he showed me the models, and he said these are the 3 I trust, and I trust the most, and they were the good ones. And I had to make a decision. Do we go pull into like I don't know, Pensacola or someplace, and just wait out this storm, and then I try to find another crew because I really needed that 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 catch was just difficult to sail solo, not especially out in the ocean. Hi, alone in the ocean on your own boat with no one around. You tell that you can't eat your own egg. I'm not sure what that means. Good equipment does make a difference. So anyway, I knew I knew that we shouldn't go out, and I knew we should turn back and go to like Pensacola or someplace. And but I wanted to believe him. I really wanted to believe him because I love sailing with the guy. He's my best sailing buddy, and I wanted to get to Key West with him. He's also a lot of fun. He's a great friend, and I made the decision to try it and believe him that those 3 weather models were going to work out. Well, we ended up out in like 30-foot seas and got beat up out of it took us like 2 days, a day and a half to sail into shore in this god awful weather. It was just awful. We had all kinds of boat problems, and we had but 100% that was on me. I was the captain of the ship. I made the decision. I wanted to believe him. It's nothing on him. He gave me information. I was the captain. I made the decision. That's what goddamn Trump should do. He should grow a pair and say, "Yeah, I made the decision to go into this war," and blame it on. I mean, Kushner's a shithead. That other guy, I don't remember what that guy's job is. They're envoys of peace, co-starting a war, whatever. Um, but I, I, as captain, you are responsible. As commander in chief, you are responsible. Harry Truman was he was a deep state, definitely a troll, a deep state troll without a doubt. He was a total Rothschild deep state Zionist puppet. I mean, he dropped the bomb. He didn't have to drop the bomb. We'd won the war already. But he was. That's what his handlers were doing. That's what that's the people he worked for. The banking cabal, the Zionist, the Rothschild banking cabal, told him to do. He did what he was told. But he did say something that I do like some of the stuff he said. When he said, one of the things I really believe is the buck stops here. And it's shitty that Trump's throwing that little shitbird Kushner under the bus. Although I wouldn't mind if he literally pushed him under the bus. I'm not saying he should. I'm not wishing harm on anybody. But this guy, he's a really deep in this Netenyahu. He's really deep into this whole end of the world, rebuilding the temple bullshit, killing everybody off. So that's how he knows Netanyahu. They're both in this it's like like Zionism is a cult of Judaism because most Jewish people are not Zionists, and this thing that these lunatic fringe people that Netanyahu's part of is he's extremists. They're like the Baptists that dance with snakes. I mean, I have some really dear relatives that are Baptists, and I love them, but they don't dance with snakes. Somebody asked, "What am I fishing for?" Usually, we fish for, I guess, what you call mahi mahi or dorado, or I've heard actually Latino people call them other things, but they're delicious. They're fairly easy to catch and clean. We catch some other stuff too, but and holy sun damage. Trump's a Israel puppet. Absolutely, 100%. They all are Israel puppets. I mean, look at what happened at the State of the Union. I've been seeing people like trying to put this in partisan terms, and talking about the Democrats. So it's like, did you not watch the State of the Union? The State war with Iran. Hey, some of you are still watching this and not scared off yet, so give it a like if you could. And subscribe, like, share it, because we are getting shadow banned heavily. I guarantee you. Truman was still weak. He could have taken over the world at that point. They kind of did take over the world at that point, sort of. But the reason that Truman didn't take over the world is he works for the same cabal as the British Parliament, the British Prime Minister, same cabal that controlled what's his name, Winston Churchill. It controlled the royal families. It controls the Vatican. It's the same. It's all part of the same. It's the Epstein class. That's a good name for them. And Truman didn't take over the world because that's not what they wanted. They wanted to do it more subtly. What they wanted to do was move the world had been in the process of changing from the British pound. After World War One, the British pound had been the world reserve currency up until World War One. Between World War One and World War Two, it was kind of shifting between a little bit over to the U.S. dollar and then the British pound. And then after World War II, they had the Bretton Woods Accord in 1933, and that was setting the stage. And after World War II, the world switched over completely to the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. So that was Truman's job. He was working for bankers. He wasn't working for the United States. Mahi, oh yeah, it's delicious. Mahi grilled. The thing about mahi is you catch a 40, 50 pounder sometimes out there. That's a lot of tuna to have, or a lot of mahi to have. You're eating mahi steaks for a while, but it's wonderful. I love it. Yeah, I was talking to a guy that I used to sail with just earlier before he's a powerboat guy. He's a sailor too, but he has a fishing boat, and he does charters out of the Florida Keys. Good fisherman. We get the most fish when he's on board. Truman. So anyway, we're talking. What the point of this reading is supposed to be Bibi Netenyahu. So that's interesting. Is Bibi Netanyahu dead? Did the Iranians get him? I mean, when they took out his brother and all that shit. I mean, I don't know. It's possible, and I'm not sure if it matters. It's interesting though. Here's the thing: they've showed some video of Netanyahu speaking, but it looks like AI generated. I mean, I don't know, but this looks more like AI generated crap than most of the AI generated crap I see on the internet. I razor fish in Ireland. We do 4 days out and getting caught in a storm. We get it. I bet. Yeah, when I was out with Mike, we got hit. We hit like 28, 30-foot seas. We were. That was rough. That's a lot of. We called them water mountains. We were just going up and down water mountains for 2-3 days. beat the hell out of my boat. Hey fella, is this the Singing Fisherman's channel? Yeah. You know, I love to sing, but seriously, if you heard me sing, you'd appreciate that I only do it when I'm alone out in the ocean. uh, yeah, I. There's a lot of things I do poorly, but singing's way at the top of the list. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to do that to y'all. I wouldn't stick around for that, so I wouldn't ask you to either. Um, so, anyway, it's interesting. It's like, what would happen if they actually took out Netanyahu? Would they just replace him with somebody even more vile? You know, it wasn't that long ago. I think probably when I started this, holy shit, a 40 foot. Yeah, I had in the 28 footers, it got beat us up so bad that I had to get my bow rails were broken. Um, they'd gotten I mean that's stainless steel bow rails, and not bow rails, stern rails. My bowsprit's pretty heavy. I have it was on that boat, but anyway, yeah, peace on earth. That's what I would like. This guy here everywhere except his head. Yeah, Donnie, you can comment on my appearance, but I never said I was pretty. You know, uh, yeah, easterlies. Well, easterlies on the Gulf of Mexico when you're like in the north coast of Cuba. That is 20, 20 footers in easterlies on the Gulf Coast could sink a boat actually. That's rough. You don't want to be going against the Gulf Stream in heavy current. I'm very careful about I've crossed the Gulf Stream, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now, and I plan those crossings extremely carefully. So back to Bibi. Is he dead or is he alive? Like, is he just flopping around on the pavement like Carl Walendo when he fell off a skyscraper? Well, you guys don't know what that is. Probably you're too young, but that was in the early '80s. When I was a kid. Anyway, when I started, I've been calming down, believe it or not. I used to be so angry. I was, when I first started paying attention to what was going on in Palestine, and I realized how vile and criminal what the Israelis were doing there. I mean, they were they were basically doing shit to the Palestinians that the Nazis did to them. Uh, you have cat hair all over your neck. No, actually, my cat doesn't shed that much. I brush her all day long because she loves to be brushed. But yeah, I don't really. That keeps the cat hair off the boat and my neck. She does love to snuggle up to me though. Yeah, when I started, even just in the last, something's happening lately. I've been having a lot more inner peace with all this. Like when I first found out what was going on in Palestine, I was furious, man. I would have paid money to watch Bibi Netanyahu get a frickin' hypersonic missile up his ass, you know? Um, I just couldn't believe how awful and like satanic, like demonically awful this man was. And to be honest with you, if he is dead, I will I will say the world will be a better place. I can't see how it could be worse. It's like, but I I don't want that. I don't want this guy to be dead. I don't want anybody to be dead. I sure don't want anybody in the receiving end of Netanyahu's war for bringing about the Jewish Messiah. That's what they want. They don't believe it's the second coming in this Jewish thing. It's like the first coming of the Messiah. As someone who served in the Blue Line in Lebanon, trust me, the Israeli settlers are honestly, yeah, cruel. Yes, um, yeah. I'm. the Israeli settlers. Thank you for posting that. Yes, I know how cruel they are. Here's what happened. So I got aware of this, and then I got to be. I, I I dated a woman for a while who was Arab, and I got to meet a lot of people, and I met this Palestinian family, uh, um, and I had they had a small store. It was like, I don't know, it was like a store, laundromat, kind of a health food store place. But they sold a lot of stuff from their that they got from their own. They had an olive grove in Palestine, and Israeli settlers moved in, drove, and while I was friends with them, also I was buying this delicious olive oil in these big steel cans. They were getting it shipped for, it was coming straight from Palestine, and they were the sweetest, nicest people, beautiful people, and um, I. One day they had no more olive oil because the Israeli settlers had moved in, had come in and bulldozed down their olive groves, burned the homes they'd been living in for like hundreds of years, and and just took the land. And I got really pissed about that. That was, I don't know, 2014-ish, 2015. And I was just furious, man. I was going around for years saying the only aid we should send to Israel is bombs sent in pointy end first and level Tel Aviv. But as awful as they are, I don't. Something happened, and I don't want that anymore. I mean, I'm not. I understand that the world will be a better off place when the what do you call it, the Ashkenazi Europeans are driven out of Palestine. But yeah, it is colonialism. But I honestly, there's going to be innocent people hurt no matter what. And I, I'm not. I would have been happy to see that 6 years ago. I really would have been happy to watch that. And I don't, I couldn't be happy about that anymore. I'll be happy for the people that have their land back after the what do they call it, anyway, the uh, the Nakba, the when the Palestinians were driven from their home. It was awful. It was awful. And I've also done I've really done a lot of research into it. And check it out. The very first example of modern terrorism was Ashkenazi terrorists bombing a hotel in Palestine, as trying to enact the Balfour Declaration, and it's considered like the first modern act of terrorism was done by these Eastern European Jewish people who wanted to take the Palestine from the Palestinians. So it's nasty. The propaganda is so bad. They keep sending out large-nosed ads to pay both sides. Yeah, I agree with you. It is. It's a show. There's something deeper going on, and I think as high as we can see up the food chain is probably the Rothschild banking cabal. But even then, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out in these Epstein files that these people really are satanic. They are really like demon worshiping, child sacrificing. They don't just rape children; they like kill them and eat them, kill them and sacrifice them to Yahweh, one of the Elohim, who is one of the Elohim. These are nasty pieces of work. It's it's really so good riddance if he is dead. It's good riddance, but I'm not taking any pleasure in that. Like I won't lie, I would have actually felt a little. I used to say I'll do a little happy dance the day that he dies, but I'm not going to do a little happy dance for the death of anybody. I don't know what the hell's happened to me. I'm not saying I won't. I won't kill somebody to protect my family. Uh, uh, yeah, Moloch worshippers and Baal and yeah, absolutely. They are demonic. But and I will be relieved when this monstrous cabal is taken out of commission. And I think they're actually I hope they actually are defeated. I hope we can beat them. But I'm gonna be maybe relieved, but not happy. And that's maybe why I'm not gonna be happy because my being happy about that would make me a person that Victoria wouldn't be. She would never be happy about something like that. She's just not in her. She's kind of my model for being a better human. And she's really good at it. And I'm honestly been pretty poor at it. I've had a violent, rough, wild, crazy, kind of exciting and fun at times, but I've done some things that have hurt people, and I feel terrible about that. And I apologize to all of them. And if I can make it up to them, I certainly will. Um, but anyway, I was gonna. So, is Bibi toast? Has uh, has he had a fork put in his ass or not? Do we have to worry about? Can we can we finally be rid of the son of a bitch? Even and will it matter? That's the most important thing. It's a little rough right now. I'm getting knocked around. It's so. I mean, I don't think there is going to be a good light. That's okay. You guys have seen enough of me, and as you pointed out, I'm not that pretty. I have more cat hair on my neck than I have on my head. I went bald. I went bald when I was 25 years old, so I've been, I'm used to whatever you got to point out about that. Anyway, those of you that are still around, that are still watching, and give it a like, give it a like and give it a share, and thank you for watching on a Sunday. Oh, hi, yeah, will the devil die? I don't know, I don't know what the devil is really. Is he another Elohim? I mean, was he the angel that loved Yahweh too much or something? I don't know. Um, you know what? Excuse me for a moment. I forgot to turn my fan off, and the noise is bothering me. Sorry about that. I had it's the white noise just bothers me. My little first mate kitty cat is coming by. She's probably going to jump up and knock my cards around. Yeah, the good questions. You guys really have a lot of. I have really smart people watching this. I learned stuff from your comments. I appreciate it. Like I learned I have more hair on my face than my neck, and I didn't know that, or on my face than my head. It's like, oh no, where'd my hair go? It's been gone for a while. I haven't had a haircut. I haven't paid for a haircut since the early 1990s, because I've been just shaving it off because there was too little of it left to cut at one point. 1994 maybe was the last time I paid for a haircut. So 32 years ago. Since then I've just been shaving it. Looks like I could use a shave now. So, is Bibi toast, and does it matter? Who gives a F? I don't know. People make comments about it, so I don't mean to ignore them. And I guess whoever made the comment about that gives an AF. It was a waste of time to go to the barber back then. Class of 99, yeah. Yeah, I used to have dreams about, when I first started going bald, I'd have dreams my hair grew back, and I was so happy. But now, then within just maybe 2 years, the dreams changed. I dreamed my hair was growing back. I think, what a pain in the ass. Now I have to have a hair around a comb or a brush, or go to the damn barber and spend money, and it's just, I got too much other shit to do to be wasting it taking care of hair. So let's see I wonder what I know it's the numbers are down today. Maybe it's because I took yesterday off. Maybe it's because it's Sunday. Maybe it's because I got some kind of a warning flashed across when I started. Half is a waste of time. Oh yeah, I'm with you 100%. Let's see. I always I shaved my head. Had long hair my whole life, cut out at 17, never grew back. Yeah, Aussie baby. Yeah. What did I graduate? I have a master's degree in creative writing. I have a bachelor's degree in English, and I have another bachelor's degree in graphic design and photography. And somebody asked if I was a good photographer there. I think I am, but I've been wrong about a lot of things, But, okay, let's see what the cards have to say. Is Bibi deader than a doorknob? And does it matter? That's really the important thing. Are they just going to replace him with another shitbird? Just like they replaced that Ayatollah shitbird with his son, It's if I think the Iranians know. I'm starting to talk like Trump. The Iranians know that it's not going to make a difference if they kill Netanyahu. I think they're just making a point if they did. I never even made it to high school. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I was an asshole. I was an asshole too. Yeah, you and me both. I didn't get kicked out. I was a terrible high school student. I was a good college student, but I was a terrible high school student. I graduated with a 0.9 GPA, and they signed my diploma. I think I think they got rid of 90% of the weed sales, the weed dealers in the whole school when they graduated me. So that's why I think they just didn't want me around because I was asked too many questions. Yeah, I was an asshole too. I'm sure there's those of you that would say I still am. I give myself, I sell myself short if I say I'm not. So here's the signifier, and that's the Ten of Wands, and that is it's like something's happening, but the burden's still so heavy we just don't know it yet. Maybe they shouldn't have signed. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have. It didn't matter. I worked in a factory for 4 years, and all of a sudden, when I went back to college, it was like, this is so easy, it's ridiculous. I just got straight A's and got a whole bunch of degrees. Almost got 2 more undergraduate degrees. I mean, I could go probably in a year and a half, and have 2 more undergraduate degrees. One in psychology and one in world religions, which that'd be kind of fun, but I think academia is. I'm kind of with Pink Floyd. Teachers leave them kids alone, blow up the wall. Maybe. Thank you guys who have liked it yet, and those of you that are still around, give it a like. Time for a cold PBR. Yeah, that's what I drank in high school was PBR. Those little ponies, Pabst ponies, we call them. So here's the overall situation, and we're hanging on to something. We're still hanging on to something that we can't let go of, and that is that might be. We'll see. Is that holding us back, or is that something we need? I don't know. But here's the gateway, And this is to put our passion into action in a mature way. This is, yes, I went to chemical processing plant and put me through school. Took full advantage. Shipley Company. Yeah. It's hard. Factory work is no joke, man. It makes school look easy. If I had the funds, I would get degrees. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here, and not that I never do that, but I had when I was doing a lot of plant medicine, when I was doing a lot of here's my little first mate. When I was doing a lot of plant medicine ceremonies, like ayahuasca and mushrooms and stuff, one of the things that Pachamama told me in a ayahuasca ceremony was that I was supposed to be a teacher. I don't know what the hell I'm starting to think that the cabal, the Epstein class is really good at destroying shit, and right now they're trying to destroy the United States and Europe, and I think they're going to succeed. But they're shit at building new stuff. They're destructive, but they're not creative. And so they're going to be able to destroy everything. They're going to do a gangbusters job at that. But they're going to completely screw the pooch when it comes to building something new, and I think that's going to be left to us to clean up out of the rubble. I mentioned the movie The Wall. At the end of The Wall, when the kids are, after they blow up the wall, they just blow it up, and these kids are walking around in the rubble like the kids in Europe were doing after World War II. Like that's how Roger Waters grew up, doing that kind of shit. I think we're going to have to, I think what Pachamama said, I still don't quite understand what that meant, but I think we're going to have to rethink the whole concept of education. I could go off on a tangent about that too, because look up the General Council on Education. The Rockefellers funding this process to destroy American education and dumb down the population so that they'd be too dumb smart enough to run the machines in the factories, but too dumb to question why they were doing it. Here's the root, and that's betrayal. This is all built on betrayal. But here's the present moment. This showed up the other day, and this is family unity and love and peace. And here's the future, psychological future, and that's putting our craft to good use. We don't build, I see the world turning into something that's very much post-systemic after this giant collapse that we are entering. I mean, and they don't, this Jewish sect that Kushner and Netenyahu are part of, they really are trying to bring about the end times. They really are trying to bring out the apocalypse. The difference is the Christian Zionists are trying to get the second coming of Jesus, and the Israeli apocalypse crowd, the Shabud or Labud, whatever, they're trying to bring about the first coming of the Messiah. So and when they kill everybody else off, they'll kill each other off. That's the plan. But but I think they're going to do a good job of wrecking everything. But I think they're going to screw the pooch and rebuilding it, and that's going to be up to us. And that's what this card says. We're going to have the work to do, and we're going to be. This is the future, and this is cultural conflict. So I think what that's saying is the Likud party. Yeah, Likud is the political party, but there's another name for this. It's like the version of Christian Zionism. It's like a religious cult within Judaism, within extreme Judaism. But not the. I don't mean the guys with the hats and the hair and stuff. They don't believe in Zionism. the guys that wear the wool coats all year long, they're actually opposed to this. George Carlin said it to the accent, just smarter. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. That was the goal of this General Council of Education. Like between 1903 and 1905 and 1921 or 22, John D. Rockefeller spent like $3 or $5 billion on this program, this educational program, and it was designed to destroy the American education system because Americans were they were too smart. They asked too many questions to be conned into going and working in factories and leaving their agrarian way of life. And this is our fears. And I'll try not to get in an argument. People say that they don't have fear. We all have fears. We really do. And this is, we fear acting. We fear action. We fear putting things into action. And that's what I think we're hanging on to, that Four of Pentacles. That was the overall situation. I think that's hanging on to having a politician or a priestly caste save us. This is the astrological energy. So there's the energy to start what we're going to have to do for the gateway to bring everything to fruition. And this is our desires. We really do want to act fiercely. We're just afraid to. We're afraid of responsibility. I mean, owning your personal sovereignty means if you start a war and you can't say, oh, Jared Kushner or my son-in-law and his dipshit buddy told me to do it, or Netenyahu told me to do it. No, you own that shit. That's personal sovereignty. But we're good, decent people. We shouldn't be afraid of our personal sovereignty. We shouldn't be afraid to act. And this is, so the future is conflict, but we're going to be on high ground. And the conflict is going to revolve around cultural conflict. And what we're going to have to do is not go after each other because somebody worships this Elohim, member of the Elohim, like Allah, and this I worship Yahweh, you worship Jehovah, that one worships Allah, so let's all kill each other. No, we can't. Let's not do that. Let's not be tempted into doing that. Let's all take care of each other. I mean, that's what this card, the final outcome. So if we cannot get sucked into letting our dogma, letting whatever Epstein class we've assigned we've abdicated our personal sovereignty to con us into killing some other person that's abdicated their personal sovereignty to some other Epstein class member. It's like George Carlin said, it's the big club that we ain't in. Absolutely. It's so don't let the people that are in that club convince us to fight amongst ourselves. That's what we're going to have to deal with. That's going to be how we're going to have that coming up. And here this modifies our fears, and that's the Nine of Pentacles. That's like almost the Ten of Pentacles is like abundance, but that is like it's getting to abundance. So we can do that, and this modifies the Page of Wands. That's the astrological energy, and this means we have the creativity to do this. We have the creativity to pull this off, and this modifies our desires. The King of Swords. You know what this is? Since we're talking about the Netenyahu getting a fork in his ass. I'm sorry, like 12's suppose ye that piece of very good. I love when you guys quote really good, appropriate Bible verses. Because I actually, in my book, I based it on the Bible. I actually structured it according to biblical gematria. I start every chapter with a uh, something from the Bible. What do you call it? Epigraph from the Bible. And so, yeah, you guys are really good. So anyway, this modifies our desires, and I think that's related to this thing about Netanyahu. I really do, because what I see happening here is that I think I think the temptation will be to take pleasure in Netanyahu's demise. If they kill him, you know, relief, yes, but we shouldn't be taking pleasure in this. We shouldn't be, because that's not that's kind of what they want. They want anger, and I mean that's the loosh they feed on. Because I do think they honestly work for like a demonic class, and I think the Elohim were like demonic aliens that came down 25 or 200,000 years ago and made us hairless apes and as test tube babies, and I think that the Epstein class is the elite group of pedophiles and Satanists that still worship. Somebody said Baal. No, they said Moloch, Baal, all that stuff. I think you might be right on that. I think you might be absolutely right. We're not born in Pennsylvania or some shit. Is not even Israel. Yeah. I think Netanyahu was born in Poland. So, Owl and Cow. Yeah. I mean, why do you think they got all these cattle statues in, like, the financial markets and things like that? Yeah, and the owls, they when they sacrifice children at Bohemian Grove, the symbol is an owl. Although I think the owl can also be a good thing too. I love owls. There's I think it really is the Illuminati. I think that's who the Cliff High calls them the Elohim worship cult. He says they're like suffering from Stockholm syndrome because the Elohim are going to throw them under the bus too when they get the chance. Yeah, I think you're right, but Professor Jing, who's been on Jimmy Dore the other day, excellent. He was on Jimmy Dore again today. He's really interesting. He talks about the Illuminati. He really says the Illuminati are the ones in charge of all this. They do blood rituals. They absolutely do blood rituals. I mean, that stuff is real, And you read the Old Testament, you read the Talmud, and Yahweh wants blood sacrifices. He demands blood sacrifices. Every once in a while, he gives him a break, like when he told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. He was going to do it, and he said, no, I'm just shitting with you, kid. It's okay. You don't have to do that. You can't spell on. You can't. No, I would never cast a spell on anybody. No way. That is absolutely. That's the problem with ritual magic, and even like pagan magic. I think it probably can be put to good use, but overall, it's used in ways that it breaks natural law, because if you put a spell on anybody, even if you put a love spell on anybody to make them love you, you're imposing on their personal sovereignty. I mean, and I think natural law somebody says put on the full armor of God. I think natural law is a really good way to wear the armor of God, because if natural law, it's simple. You own your personal sovereignty, and you don't impose on the personal sovereignty of others. That means protecting people that are having their personal sovereignty imposed on. So it isn't. I mean, you take a sword to the demon worshippers that are sacrificing children and raping and sacrificing them in blood rituals and extracting their adrenochrome. Yeah, I mean, if that's Netanyahu, and he's pretty sure he does that, you put him to the blade. You have to just, you can't have these people hurting children. But you don't do it just because you don't like them, just because you're mad at them. You don't. Uh, and if you're doing it just because it gives you pleasure, and if it gives you pleasure to take these sons of bitches out, then you're imposing on their personal sovereignty. You don't do it just for your own ego gratification, because that is imposing on personal sovereignty. Protect the people you have to protect. Protect your family, protect your community, protect your loved ones and friends, protect your tribe. Do what you have to do, and if that requires violence, use violence. But but don't don't do that just for your own personal gratification, because that's imposing your personal sovereignty on somebody else. That's breaking natural law. And here's the final card, and this modifies the cultural conflict, and that's love. This is the card of love. This is the arrows of love, Cupid's arrows hitting your heart. So that's how we resolve the cultural conflict, is with love. So isn't Netanyahu toast? Well, you know what? He could be, but I think more important than whether he's toast or not is does he? It's how we react to it. Yes, be relieved. The world will be a better place without this man if he's gone. But don't take joy in it. Don't invest your own ego in something bad happening to any of these people, no matter how awful they are. If I'd be just perfectly happy if they were just in prison. Somebody thinks I'm paranoid. I don't know. I don't think I am, though. What about the gang stalker? Yeah, and if the cops have them, they have them. Then just let the system take care of it. I mean, what are you talking about? If they lie to the cops, it's like, well, the cops got to do their job, and they got to do it to the best of their ability, and they make mistakes too. The entire administration needs to be. Yeah, yes, I think you're right. I think the whole bunch of them do need to put in. I think, but right now, look at how corrupt the federal justice system is. The Department of Justice sat on those Epstein files for 8 or 9 years, How long did they have that information? And they still haven't acted on it. And I mean, maybe before we can get any satisfaction from the Department of Justice, maybe we need to restructure the whole legal system. Maybe we need to move beyond system. Maybe, if they start a nuclear war and enough of us get killed, which is still a possibility, because I mean they really want to kill us, and they do have nuclear bombs. Maybe if we're rebuilding a world from rubble and not just restructuring what's already here, maybe we have to build a world based on natural law and personal sovereignty, and not have systems. We each have, those of us who survive, and we have structure. We have the structure. We have the kingdom of heaven within ourselves. By the way, it is a bioweapon. Absolutely, mRNA. It's going to be proven to be a bioweapon. I don't think we're too far from that right now. The death jabs, Operation Warp Speed. That should have been a clue that we couldn't trust this dude. I wanted to be able to trust him, but I was hoping. I didn't vote for him. I don't vote for anybody, but I was hoping he'd be an exception, and he's not. I saw the leaks online back in 2017. Yeah, had to move 3 times. I have a Jesus with exaggerated cough issue with. All right. I guess we've done this already. I guess we finished this, and yeah, I really like reading what you guys write. It's very thoughtful, and you guys are really aware. You're conscious, and I'm glad. You all stay safe. You all stay healthy. All take care of each other. Let's see if we can possibly anything we can do to prevent these sons of bitches from blowing up the whole goddamn planet with nuclear bombs. I mean, I guess if they start dropping bombs in the Middle East, they won't be able to rebuild the Temple of David and bring either the second coming of Jesus or the first coming of the other whoever it is back. So hopefully we got that going in our favor. But thank you guys for all your good comments. Take care of each other and love each other. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.